Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. Now, this is where I take a deep dive into a particular subject, a particular creator, and I really kind of very thoroughly examine one particular trick. And today we're looking at a brand new release from Vanishing Inc. Now, if you don't know who Vanishing Inc. is is co-founded by Andy Gladwin and Joshua J., two very well-known, very successful magicians, and Vanishing Inc. has been around for a very long time. They literally are everywhere. Whenever they go to a convention, they have the biggest booth. They run the retreat, they run Magic Fest, they run the session over here in the UK, and their effects are always well received by the magic community. Now, it's always a special time of the year when Josh J releases a trick. Josh is, as well as one of the heads of Vanishing Inc., he is an incredible magician, performer, creator in his own right. He travels the world performing various different shows. So when he brings something out, it only happens every year or so. When he brings something out, the entire industry sits up and pays attention. Now, this trick that we're going to be looking at this week on the review show especially is called Reverse Logic by Josh J. And when you listen to the tutorial, he actually explains that this is something that he's been doing in his show for a very long time. This is something that he first developed years and years and years ago for his first show. And it's also something that he's been using in his most recent show. And it's, look, I'm telling you right now, this is not a walk around piece. This is not something that you would necessarily do walk around and do it again and again and again. This is a feature piece for a parlor show, for a close-up show. It would play big on a stage show, especially if you had like a camera on you projecting it onto a screen behind you. But this isn't the sort of thing that you would do kind of in the trenches, because there's a little bit to it. Now, if you don't know what this trick is, I'm going to play you the trailer first of all. After you've had a look at the trailer, we'll talk about it for a couple of minutes, and then I'll do a performance of the trick. But first of all, let's have a look at a trailer for Reverse Logic by Vanishing Inc. and Josh J.
My show that I've been doing for a long time called Reverse Logic. And I came up with this trick based on the simple premise of a card trick done backwards.
It's not that your card is gone. It's that your card has gone back in time.
Thank you so much.
I'm now wearing the watch that I took off 3 minutes ago.
A lot of card tricks you do close up, but very few play big on a stage for 50 or 100 or 300 people. Reverse Logic plays. It's a short routine, about 3 minutes long, but there are 6 moments of magic. There's visual magic and there's cerebral magic in it. And it all starts with a crystal clear, interesting premise. I want to do a card trick backwards. And you do. You make a watch jump back on your wrist. You make a deck of cards go back into order after it's been shuffled by a spectator. There's adventure along the way. There's an intriguing premise. There's interaction with a spectator, and it all pays off with a spectacular ending. Reverse Logic can go anywhere in your show that you need it to. You can plug it right in. I find it works great as an opener, and I find that now my favorite place to use it is as the second trick. It's got great energy, it's punchy, but it's got a premise, and it works so well in the second spot. Even though I've been doing this trick for years, I've never released it to magicians for 2 reasons, really. The first one is I'm still using it. I do this trick in every parlor show that I do. And the other reason is it involves a lot of stuff. But we've finally done the work. You get everything that you need to perform this trick. And here's the best part. It's really easy to do. I didn't design this trick or any of my tricks with ease in mind, but this trick happens to work itself. The props take care of everything, so the watch that vanishes and reappears basically is magic to you as well. What that allows you to do is live and breathe in the performance and not think about the technique of the trick. When you come up with a trick, it's like an old friend or your baby, and it's hard to let go. But in this case, I'm just really excited for you to try this trick out. I use this trick all the time. I love doing it. I'm proud of it. I love the premise that it sets up, and I hope it serves you well in your show.
So there you go. That was the trailer. And what is it? So what is it, right? What is it? Well, basically, it's a very interesting trick that's based around one specific premise. And the premise is, what if you could actually travel back in time and do a card trick in reverse? Now, Josh isn't the first person to do this. In fact, I've published a version of this sort of thing myself on my second Alakazam Card Magic Academy, actually. I published a version of this, which was designed for a sort of a walk-around scenario. But this is something that Josh has developed over the years to really play big in a feature presentation. And there's a lot going on here. It's not simply just a card trick. I mean, it's more than it's sum of its parts, if that makes sense. I want to talk about this in depth, but before I do, I'm going to do a performance of this. So let's have a look at the performance of this first of all, and then after the performance, I'll tell you exactly what I think. So Jack, I know you're a bit of a geek.
I am.
So we're going to do a trick all about time travel.
Ooh.
And we're going to explore the concept of what would happen if I could actually travel back in time and forward in time, and if I could actually work in reverse. A bit like that film. You ever seen Memento?
I have.
Great film.
Brilliant film.
And the whole idea of the film, if you've not seen Memento, by the way, you should check it out. The whole film is in reverse. It's nuts. We're going to try and do that. We're going to try and do that. And obviously, if we're talking about time travel, the thing that I think signifies time travel more than anything else is a watch.
Yep.
And so what I'm going to do is I have a little bag here, as you can see. And if you could just go ahead and drop that watch into my bag for me, that would be amazing. You can feel it right there.
Yep.
There it is. So we are going to try and do something absolutely incredible using that watch and this deck of cards. Now I should point out to you that this deck of cards is in new deck order. When you buy a deck of cards and you open it for the first time, it's in new deck order. So it goes ace through to king of all of the hearts, and then it goes ace through to king of all of the clubs, and then it goes ace through to king of all of the diamonds, and then it goes ace through to king of all of the spades. Basically, this is in new deck order, right? Now, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to shuffle the cards, and this is a card trick that's going to happen in reverse. Now, because this card trick is going to happen in reverse, Jack, we start with the end. And the end is you giving me a huge, non-sarcastic round of applause for being so clever. Or you could do a golf clap, whichever. Now, the reason you gave me that round of indifference was because I was able to find your card. So the next step is for me to find your card. That is your card. Now, I know you're thinking, how can that be my card? I haven't actually picked one yet, but that's because this is time travel.
Reverse.
Exactly, it's time travel. So it all makes sense, really, when you think about it. Now, could you do me a favour and shuffle the cards? Mix up, give them a really good shuffle, Jack. Mix them up. It's very important that you realise they are in a random order. Honestly, the last time you hummed Zelda, it got stuck in my head for a week. So please don't do that again. Right, so you've given these... wow. Probably too good a shuffle. Should we do a card trick? Coin trick instead? That'd probably be a little bit better. I'll try. So with the pack that you shuffled,
yep,
we're now at the point where you need to pick a card. So
okay,
just say stop.
Stop.
Can you remember it?
Yep.
You got it?
Okay.
And you know what? Let's go nuts, Jack. Shuffle them again. Mix them up again, Jack. Mix them up again. Give them a really good shuffle.
Can I sing Zelda again?
No, you can't sing Zelda, Jack, because it's going to get stuck in my head. But you can mix them up as much as you want to, Jack. And when you've done the shuffling them, put them back in the original order. Not my hand, the clean hand.
Well, I'm working backwards. It should already be in order.
Yeah, but that would be impossible, Jack.
Yes, I know.
Come on, we're doing card tricks here, not miracles. So now, we're done.
Are we?
Of course we're done. We're done.
How do you mean?
Well, I've found your card.
What, that card?
Well, obviously, because I'm doing the trick in reverse. So because I found your card before you picked the card, because of the laws of causality and time travel, it means that has to be your card. Genuinely, Jack. Now, what was the name of your card?
Ace of clubs.
The Ace of Clubs.
Yep.
And that card was there from the very beginning. Pick it up, show it to the camera, Jack. You're not going to believe this.
Hey!
Look at that, Jack. It's the Ace of Clubs.
It is.
It's amazing. That's pretty cool, right? That's pretty.
Good.
That's. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I think that's pretty damn good. What do you think? Are you impressed, Jack? You impressed? You should be impressed because that's an amazing trick. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Jack. This is even crazier. Do you understand why this is crazier?
What is that?
There's a reason why this is crazier, Jack, and the reason is very, very simple. If I really did go back in time, and I really did go back in time, it means that this watch would not be here. The reason is, Jack, the watch would be back on my wrist. The watch never would have left my wrist, Jack. And the reason the watch never left my wrist is because we've really gone back in time, Jack. We genuinely have gone back in time. We've gone back in time to the very beginning of the trick, Jack, when we had every single card in order, the king, the queen, the jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, when we've got all of the diamonds in order, all of the spades in order, all of the clubs in order, all of the hearts in order, Jack. We have gone back to the very beginning of the trick before we even shuffled the cards.
What the heck?
And that is what time travel looks like if you use it for a card trick. So that was the performance of reverse logic. And what I love most about this is, and you would expect nothing else from Joshua J, I love the theatrics behind it. I love the fact that it feels more than a card trick. You know, you're establishing the premise right at the very beginning. Hey, I'm going to show you what would happen if we did a trick in reverse. What would happen? How would that look? Well, let's see if we can explore it together. And there's so many subtle moments that I really like. I love the fact that he takes his watch off at the very beginning. He puts that to one side, doesn't even reference it. I love the fact that the cards are shuffled. I think that's very, very important. You know, I love the fact that the cards are in new deck order, and you show that they're in new deck order. And then the spectator picks a card. The cards are shuffled. They can see that. I love all of that, and I love the fact that there's multiple climaxes. I love the fact that at the end, it all goes back in time, and there's that beautiful kind of Tommy Wonder moment where the watch is back on the wrist, and the cards are back in new deck order, and the card that was put down from the beginning is the card. There's so much to love about this. It is very theatrical, and I could see somebody slotting this straight into their show. I really could. Now, things that you need to be aware of. So first of all, let's talk about the tutorial. The tutorial is very well done, as you would expect from Vanishing Inc. Josh has always been and will always be an incredible teacher and goes through everything with a fine-tooth comb. He has the ability to put across information in a very concise way while still making sure that he gives you all the information you need to be able to perform the trick in front of you. And that's a skill that very few people have, and Josh does that perfectly. So the trick itself, the tutorial itself is great. Like I say, live performances. And it's not actually that difficult to do. That's the simple fact of it. Josh has streamlined this to a point that it is a very, very simple trick to be able to perform. Now, let's talk about the props that you actually get with this. So you're going to get yourself everything that you need to perform this. You're going to need a couple of decks of cards. They come with it. You are going to have to do a tiny little bit of arts and craft. Nothing difficult, nothing that would stress people out, nothing that you're not going to be able to do, but there is a little bit of arts and craft involved. That's important that you understand that. You could probably set this whole thing up. There's a one-time setup that will take probably around about, 5 minutes, maybe even longer, maybe about 15, 20 minutes, half an hour at the absolute most. And you'll have the one-time setup done, all right? But you get the 2 decks of cards with it. You also get the handkerchief that you need in order to vanish the watch. It's a classic Vanishing handkerchief. It's a classic sort of devil's hank, but Vanishing Inc. have had them made specifically for this, and they look and they handle very, very well. The other thing that you get 2 watches, because you are going to need a couple of watches for this, and the watches have a particular thing going for them that makes the handling of this quite easy. Now, Josh actually talks about how if you're going to do this routine in the long term, he would consider maybe not using the watches that are included in the product. He does not use the watches that are included in the product. He's actually using a watch that I think was given to him by Rune Klan, and he got a spare watch, and it means a lot to him. So the watch that he actually wears to do the routine, it's actually a watch that he would wear on his wrist anyway, as opposed to doing it with the watches that you get from Vanishing Inc., because those watches would be specifically for this trick, right? So it's not something that you would normally wear. So Josh talks about how when you first start performing this, there's no problem using the watches they provide, but if it's going to become a feature part of your act, you might want to consider, investing in a different version of the prop. But you get the watches with it as well. You get everything that you need. And the reason that I say that this is not an in the trenches type routine, and that's not a negative, by the way, This Josh J created this routine to accomplish a very specific goal. He wanted to create a piece of theatre for his show. He is now sharing that routine with the world, and he has every right to do so. And anybody who learns this and puts it into their act, they will have a great 5 to 7 minutes that they can put into their show. That is just a beautiful moment of magic. If you are a strolling performer, and you're looking to do stuff where you go around from table to table to table, and you want a trick that you can do again and again and again, this is not the trick to get. If you're a restaurant performer and you want something that's going to reset instantly, this is not the trick to get. If you are, if you're a parlor magician or a close-up magician doing a close-up show, formal close-up show, this could be perfect. If you're wanting to do a particular routine for, say, the head table at a wedding for the bride and groom and their family, this is something that you might want to do. This is kind of a one-time deal. This is because the reset would be quite a lot, because you'd have to basically, without giving too much away, you'd have to sort an entire deck of cards out. Now, just that there puts it out the remit of a instant reset type of trick. It's not designed for that, but if you want to do something that's just a beautiful piece of magic to include in the show, and this reminds me very much of the sort of stuff that Scott Alexander put out before he passed away. And what I mean by that is Scott would teach a routine, and you would have everything that you need. You wouldn't have to think about it. You could insert it straight into your show. It's scripted, all the lines are there, everything's thought through to the nth degree. It's the same with this. If you are putting a show together, or you have a show that you want to do to an audience and you want a solid 5 to 7 minutes that you want to just insert into the show, you don't have to do any thinking with this. It's there. You can insert it straight away. It's everything that you need to know. Not a problem. It's not the trick, as I say, that you're going to get if you're a strolling magician and you want to do it again and again and again. That's not to say that you couldn't take elements of this and use elements, because you could. You could do a streamlined, stripped down version of this that could be done in a walk around situation if you wanted to. But in order to do it the way that Josh performs it, in order to do it the way that Josh teaches it, you really do need to be able to kind of be in an environment where it's going to work the way that Josh intended it to work. But yeah, I mean, it's a great trick. It's fantastic. It's not exciting in terms of a brand new gimmick that's going to set the world on fire. You know, everybody raved about Liquify when it came out because it's like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before, or Stitch by Titanus. It's nothing like that. It's not like a new gimmick that's going to revolutionize magic. This is a collection of tried and tested techniques and principles combined together into an incredibly strong routine that will guaranteed blow an audience away and just leave them on the edge of their seat. And if that's what you want, then this is perfect. I love this. I will use a variation of this. As I say, I've actually published a version of this plot before, which was designed for a walk-around situation. Josh has taken it to an entire other level. Josh has just, as I say, made it very theatrical. And I would love to perform this in my show, which is why I'm giving it 98%. I think this is very, very good. I'd highly recommend it. And yeah, it's another great winner by Joshua J. He continues to bang them out. And this one is no exception. It's fantastic. You can get it from Vanishing Inc. So there you go, guys. That's another review show special in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me here on Magic TV. Now, don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again Monday with another video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, check out the Talk Magic from Saturday. Check out the Q&A from Sunday earlier on today. And finally, if you want to join the Netrix, which is my online streaming platform for magicians, you know what you need to do. You just need to go to www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. We've got over 500 routines on there and loads of advice and theory and everything. Whatever you need, it's on there. But I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.